Reach out to the leadership as soon as we hit the ground. I want to talk to each and every one of them today, now.
Yes, sir.
You call Rose Kennedy?
Yes.
Lord, what that woman's been through. Your lipstick.
What?
Fix your lipstick. How did John Conley's surgery go?
The doctors are optimistic.
Thank God for that. Jackie?
Won't change her clothes. Says she wants them to see what they've done to Jack.
See the way she stared at me when I was taking the oath?
She's upset, honey.
We're all upset, Bird. We're all upset. A televised address to both houses of Congress as soon as it seems decent.
Mr. President. Mr. President. Mr. President.
All I have, I would have gladly given not to be standing here today. The greatest leader of our time has been struck down by the foulest deed of our time. No words are sad enough to express our sense of loss. John F. Kennedy told his countrymen that our national work would not be finished in the life of this administration, not even perhaps in our lifetime. But, he said, let us begin. Today, I would say to all my fellow Americans, let us continue. We have talked long enough in this country about civil rights. We have talked for 100 years or more. It is time now to write the next chapter in the books of law. I urge you again, as I did in 57 and again in 60, to enact a civil rights law so that we can move to eliminate from this nation every trace of discrimination that is based upon race or color. When we get to Atlantic City, I will be the Democratic nominee.
But how damaged will you be?
I'll be plenty strong enough for Goldwater in November.
Well, what if Bobby smells blood in the water and decides to run at the last minute? You remember how those Kennedys did to you 3 years ago?
That little shit doesn't have his brother's balls.
He still got his daddy's money. You might win the nomination, but if the party splits, all Wallace has got to beat you with is this damn civil rights bill, and I don't for the life of me understand why you're giving him this issue.
At this point, I'm more worried about the liberals than I am about the Dixiecrats. We have to give them something this time, Dick. You know that.
You have to look like you're giving them something. All I'm saying is, don't work quite so hard to get this bill out of the House. If the leadership over there can't do their job, that's no reflection on you, is it?
I'll do what I can.
Lyndon, you're going to talk poor Uncle Dick to death. And here, Zephyr's made her favorite dinner and it's getting cold. Saved by the bell, Bird. You look beautiful as always. And you're a terrible liar as always. Politicians curse.
Any jackass can kick a barn down, but it takes a carpenter to build one. Sam Rayburn, bless his memory, said that to me the first time he invited me up to his office for one of his Board of Education meetings. Bourbon, poker, and politics. I could have kissed his bald head. God knows I'd been kissing his ass since the day I moved to Washington, trying to get him to take notice of me, a dirt poor freshman representative from bumfuck Texas, and when the call finally came, I felt like the Lord's anointed. Sam Rayburn, Speaker of the House. Could have had anything in the world, but you know what Mr. Sam wanted? His greatest regret? A tow-headed boy to take fishing. I heard that and I did my damnedest to be that boy. Suck up? Brown noser? Sure. Kiss ass? Yeah, I've heard it all. Fuck you. Everybody wants power. Everybody. If they say they don't, they're lying. But everybody thinks they ought to be given, it ought to be given out free of charge. like Mardi Gras beads, especially them, because of course they're going to do good with it. Nothing comes free. Nothing. Not even good. Especially not good. When a carpenter picks up the saw, if wood could talk, it would scream.
You cannot cut the voting rights section out of the Civil Rights Bill.
You can't pass a civil rights bill with voting rights intact. Not this year, not now.
It'll never even get out of the House like this.
The House is not the problem. The Senate is.
The House is a problem, Mr. President. Hell, we can't even get out of Judge Smith's Rules Committee.
You got to give Judge Smith credit. I remember how he stalled the 57 bill by claiming that he had to go home to Virginia to take care of a barn of his that had burned down. Sam Rayburn said that he always knew that Judge Smith would do most anything to block a civil rights bill, but he never thought he would resort to arson.
Have you made a deal with Smith?
I've made no kind of deal with Judge Smith.
You told Dr. King that you wanted that bill passed, without one word changed.
If you go to sell a horse, you don't start by talking about it being blind in one eye and got the heat.
People are going to say that it's 1957 all over again, and you're just gutting this bill.
Bullshit! It's still a damn good bill, Humphrey, and you know it. A great bill. Real progress on public access, public housing, and school desegregation. Don't you tell me that ain't nothing.
The liberal wing of the party will think you betrayed them.
Those are your people. It's your job to bring them around.
My job.
Don't be so modest, Hubert. You're the great white hope to liberals everywhere.
If I'm anything like what you say, it's because people know how I stand by my principles, and I can't sell what I don't believe in. I won't.
Defending the Constitution. Let me tell you what we're really talking about here. My first year out of college, the only job I could get was teaching first grade at a beat-up old elementary school in Cotulla, Texas. A dusty border town in the middle of nowhere full of wetback Mexicans who didn't have a pot to piss in. But God, did I love those kids of mine. They would show up every morning, dirty, ragged, and hungry, because most of them hadn't had breakfast. But they were so on fire to learn, it would just make you feel good. But for each one of them, there would come a day when I would see the light in their eyes die, because they had discovered that the world hated them just because of the color of their skin. All my life as a Southerner, I've had to bite my tongue on this issue till my mouth was full of blood. Not anymore. What's the point of being president if you can't do what you know is right? This ain't about the Constitution. It's about those who got more hanging on to what they got at the expense of those who got nothing. They want to feel good about it. Uncle Dick can talk about his rights till he's blue in the face, but all I can see are the faces of those kids in Cotulla. But he's right about one thing. The war has just begun.
The press accuses me of lying to Congress about my associations and having an unnamed advisor who is known to be
a senior figure in the covert apparatus of the Communist Party.
They're going after Stanley.
This has got Hoover's fingerprints all over it.
It's garbage, Martin. It's garbage, Mr. President. It's not garbage when it's printed in the Washington Post.
It may be garbage, but it could derail the whole damn bill. Southern Caucus can be all over this like stink on shit. Civil rights and communists. Hell, if the Mississippi River flooded tomorrow, Jim Eastland would declare it to be the work of niggers and reds. Politics is war by other means. Bullshit. Politics is war. Period. Before Santa Anna stormed the Alamo, his trumpeter played El de Gelo. It means I cut your throat. It means no mercy. It means no prisoners. That's a political campaign. Sometimes the battle is tens of thousands of people across dozens of states, and other times it's just you and him, and it's a knife fight in a dark room with a slippery floor. There are no gracious losers and no sore losers. Just the walking dead. How do you win a campaign? By not losing it. By spending every day as if it were your last day and you were 10 points behind. By taking nothing for granted. By giving it everything you have and everything everybody else around you has. I've only lost one election my whole life. This son of a bitch stole it from me in the last seconds with a handful of fake votes, and I will carry the pain of that with me to the day I die. But I tell you one thing, that will never be done to me that way again. It'll be done some other way. A politician's courtesy is a desperate desire. The absolute need to plan for every contingency, to anticipate every problem, to try to control everything, even though you know it's impossible. You're not running for office, you're running for your life. You're trying to cheat death. Politics is war by other means. Bullshit. Politics is war. Period. Before Santa Anna stormed the Alamo, his trumpeter played El de Gelo. It means I cut your throat. It means no mercy. It means no prisoners. That's a political campaign. Sometimes a battle is tens of thousands of people across dozens of states. And other times it's just you and him, and it's a knife fight in a dark room with a slippery floor. There are no gracious losers and no sore losers, just the walking dead. How do you win a campaign? By not losing it. By spending every day as if it were your last day and you were 10 points behind. By taking nothing for granted. By giving it everything you have and everything everybody else has around you. I've only lost one election my whole life. The son of a bitch stole it from me in the last seconds with a handful of fake votes, and I will carry the pain of that with me to my dying day. But I tell you one thing, nobody will ever do me that way again. It'll happen some other way. I'm Carl Palmer, reading for the role of LBJ. I'm 6'1", represented by Collier Talent.